Air Marshal, I'll come back to you. And because we are discussing how Operation Sindhur in more ways than one has enhanced the confidence of our armed forces in Make in India solutions. From here on, how do you think it's going to influence future procurement and deployment decisions, especially within the Indian Air Force regarding the indigenous platforms and weapons?
Tina, we are already doing a lot in terms of, if you see the government policies in last 4 or 5 years, it has been towards, Atmanirbhar Bharat, it has been towards Make in India. Almost 80% of our weapon system in air defense today are indigenous. All our radars today are indigenous. Our integrated air command and control system, which I was part of in development, is totally indigenous. And I must bring in here when we were developing IACCS, that time, its cost in the world market was 100 times more than what and that was the precise reason. Thanks to the Air Force leadership, we decided that we will make it indigenously. And well, we made it, and today it was there on display. It was the brain behind all these operations. Every single thing of that is indigenous. We had almost 16 sub vendors, again Indian companies. I'm talking about 2009, 10, and this system has been evolved over the time and finally has come to the full fruition in 2015. We've been using it from 2010. So the entire thing in this was we had nothing to refer to. This was purely indigenous effort. We had an Air Force team along with the Bell scientists. I worked there for almost 3 years in building up this system and operationalizing this system. So the kind of faith and this thing that you have on indigenous system is only growing with the kind of systems that we have in aircrafts. You have helicopter fleet is almost totally indigenous. Tejas is there, which is now going to the going to be our one of the main aircraft. So are our missile systems. Your MRSAM was also built by DRDO along with the thing. So it has been also built in collaboration. So almost 80% of your weaponry of air defense today, from sensor to command and control systems to the effectors and missiles and AD guns, and now even the drone, anti-counter drone systems, they are all indigenous. And I'm sure after this, there is not only going to be demand, we in any case are using it in a large number. Now that confidence would be boosted further, that this is now a battle-proven system. Every system of it was in use, while the devastating effect was done by the BrahMos. But mind you, behind the scene, there are a whole lot of other systems which are at work. It was the visible end that we saw the BrahMos landing up there. But you think of the command and control system, think of the AD systems that were working back end, think of all the communication systems that were working back end. I'm sure there were a lot of space intelligence that was coming in. So there are a whole lot of these systems that were at work, and large number of these are indigenous. So we should feel really proud today that in this conflict, almost our entire indigenous might was at display. And how? I mean, we succeeded.
Absolutely. So very rightly said, because a lot of these indigenous systems and platforms, Mr. Shukla, it was their debut live operation, and we can now tell the world that it's actually been tested in a situation like a war. So, but having said that, let me come to the point that we are also a country that creates opportunity during crisis. We've done that effectively during COVID. We've done that even during the geopolitical shifts. We've put the nation's interests first. And this time as well, how do you see Operation Sindhur now opening new doors, perhaps creating fresh momentum for Indian manufacturers to innovate and scale up, especially in mission critical technologies? And in doing so, what kind of support structures do you need to take advantage of the momentum that has been created by Operation Sindhur?
You are quite right, Mr. If I make a general statement first, I see Indian defense industry as the fifth arm of our defense forces. First three are well known. Everybody talks about air, navy, and land. There is fourth arm, which is strategic forces. Generally, nuclear and space you club under them. The fifth arm of any country in its defense, it's its own defense industry. At the time of war, if you are waiting for a consignment of drones, consignment of missiles coming from a third country, and we know the examples which happened for our neighbor, that is not a very healthy situation. If you need spare parts in the middle of the war and others refuse to supply, what are you going to do? It is actually a fifth arm of the defense forces which has to work hand in hand with the user, actual user, and R&D organizations. Now I come to impetus. I totally agree with you. Operation Sindhur and the success of indigenous equipment, including BrahMos, has given a great impetus. Entire sector, yesterday I attended one meeting of the defense industry. Entire sector is looking at what new activities, what new areas which can be explored. Increasingly, what is happening is that IT, artificial intelligence, directed energy weapons, they are becoming increasingly a large part of the arsenal of any country. So while traditional focus on land-based war has always been there, when you have tanks from the both sides, or Navy, where you have battleships and aircraft carriers from both sides, or Air Force, where you have fighters, bombers, helicopters from both sides. Increasingly, the new sectors are coming up which are going to broaden the technology space where we will have to be prepared. And this is what players in the industry, both existing players as well as new players, will focus on. And this is where we come to a very important part. It is becoming a combination of offense and defense. It is not enough to have only offensive capability of your defense forces. It is equally important that we have ability to defend and stop the incoming attack vehicles from an enemy nation. Incoming has to be stopped, because as we move forward in developing our offensive capability, others can either develop or acquire. To counter that, defense is very important. Right. So defensive capability in terms of stopping the incoming drones, incoming missiles, and I would say that India has done an exemplary job in Operation Sindhur of stopping incoming products also from our in the conflict. So impetus is real. Impetus will be on high-tech fields. Impetus will be on filling up whatever space is there between two different systems, so that we have an integrated running continuum of capabilities. Okay. I will stop here.